Sleep Quiet is a brand that my wife and I set up about 3 years ago. I realised I was spending $1 a night on these nasal strip things that were working really well, but I was thinking that's expensive. So I was finding myself trying to reuse them and doing all these things that they weren't really designed to do because they're an every night thing, but it was expensive. And so that made me think, wow, I wonder if I could do those a bit cheaper and have my own brand and do it online. Snoring, yeah, it's a serious issue. People joke about it and think it's a little bit funny because they're embarrassed. The person snoring's embarrassed, the person who's been kept awake's embarrassed. They don't want a new relationship, they don't want to bother each other. An older relationship, you know, I literally used to get a little elbow in the ribs. Fast forward 2 weeks, 2 months, however long it takes you to get this realisation, you end up in another bedroom. Because at different times my snoring was worse than at other times. A lot of snoring comes from people breathing through their mouth. Their nose clogs up, they start breathing through their mouth dries up, their throat dries up, and then you end up with an issue there. This is the non-sleep apnea type of snoring, which is about 80% of snoring is not sleep apnea. Fundamentally, nasal strips are all the same thing. You know, they're a Band-Aid type looking thing with a plastic strip in it that pulls up. When you stick it to your nose, it pulls back and helps you breathe a little bit better. But some just work better than others. So we spec'd against the market leader to be at least as good as, hopefully a little bit better. But we've got variations. We had some size variations, and a clear strip and a tan strip. When we send out strips to a new customer, we send them all 3 as a trial, so they get to see. They don't have to spend $12 or $30 that they'd have to spend at a pharmacy to try them all. We send them all the different types to try when they order their trial pack. Where we're different is our customer service, but also affordability. At the moment, we're 20 or 30% of the price of the ones you go to a pharmacy for. And depending on whether you buy a smaller or bigger pack, it could be even less than that, to be honest, but thereabouts. So you can use these every night instead of doing what I was doing, which was reusing. When you paid $1 each, I was trying to reuse them, and if one didn't work one night, which happens now and again, I used to get very angry because there's $1 gone, and it was just a lot of money. It's $30 a month, right? So that's really the benefits. It works, it's non-invasive, and it's affordable. At its core, it's when you go to bed and you're a bit stressed about the fact you're going to snore, you've got something helping you, and it's really stress relieving. It's really nice to know that you just put it on knowing I'm doing something. And I reckon it just gives you a bit of peace, and it gives your partner a bit of peace. So we're helping them. I just started using the strips to lessen the impact, and it did. Not in those really heavy times when I had the cold or when I had this, it just made it a little bit better. But in general, it was enough that Michelle wasn't complaining. And that is why our product sells well and people come back, because it just helps a little bit. And it's not an operation. You don't have to stick it up your nose. You don't have to stick it in your ear. You don't have to cover your mouth. There's other options are out there, and they work, I believe, because they sell, but it's non-invasive. So non-invasive means you can keep using it. And when you're snoring, you want to keep using it because your snoring is it doesn't just go away.